So it is 2 o'clock, which means we're going to get started. Welcome to your Glide Paddle Yoga Ambassador info section. My name is Amelia Travis, and I am the yoga director for Glide Stand-Up Paddleboards. Joining me is Ken Driscoll. He's our lead shaper, designer. We call him the wizard. He's the big boss man here at Glide, and the brains behind all of our innovative designs and oversees all of our development. Is that what you do?
That is what I do.
Okay, good. I got it right. So we want to get started today and just welcome you guys and thank you all for taking the time to be here and to learn a little bit more about the brand. We know that we have a team right now of over 70 ambassadors across the United States, and we're really excited. This is the largest yoga-specific team that we've ever had. So we want to make sure that we're available to you guys to give you the information that you need to be able to do a really amazing job representing the brand. We want to make sure that we're giving you some support throughout the process. So looks like we have hey from Audrey DeLong in Reading and hey from Amanda in Fort Worth. So looks like everybody's able to use the Q&A and chime in. So that's great. We're really glad you guys are here. First, we want to give you guys a little bit of background on Glide, and I'm going to let Ken speak to this because he is the guy that has the answer. So would you like to give us a little bit of background on Glide?
Hey, everybody. So my name is Ken Driscoll, as Amelia said. I founded Glide about 6 years ago. I actually started in my garage. And my background was I was a professional whitewater kayaker. And so I traveled the world doing films. And I hurt my back. And that ended my career in whitewater. But I always, I love surfing. I always wanted to be a part of, and I wanted to stay in the water for sure. I saw stand-up paddling, it was probably 7 years ago, 7 to 8 years ago. I thought I could still do that, and I could do that on the rivers. And so my goal when I founded Glide was purely selfish. I just wanted to have fun, and I just wanted to go down the rivers on a stand-up paddleboard. It had never been done before as far as I had known. And started making boards in my garage, and then over time they started getting more popular. We started actually getting orders for them from people who saw us going down rivers. And so at that point, we took on two partners, Ken Apperson and Scott Knorr, and started our own factory. So we built a factory here in Salt Lake City, Utah. We made a decision early on that we wanted to be an American manufacturer. We didn't want to outsource anything. And we found it was very important. We'll go into the environmental aspects of that in just a little bit, but we started here 6 years ago in this factory. It started out 10,000 square feet. We're now to 20,000 square feet. We double. I remember it's pretty crazy to be where we're at now. After our first year of being here, we had, I think 5 dealers across the country. We're up to conservatively 250 plus dealers now in the U.S. And yeah, it was pretty exciting. Like I remember that first year we sold 74 boards, and we thought, wow, that's huge. It went from just making a few in our garage to 74. Now we're making over thousands of boards a year. So it's pretty amazing where we're at now. And it's been a growing experience. I mean, I'd never dreamed I'd be running a factory, let alone have employees, have a yoga director, have customer service teams. It's become from a garage to a full business. And so having you guys as ambassadors is really exciting. It's just another aspect of the business, one that I'm personally not as involved in as much as Amelia, but I'm very excited to get to know you all over the year and see what you guys are doing and just the really cool things that are coming.
Thank you. Thanks, Ken. So if any of you don't know me, I know from those of you that did leave a comment in the Q&A, I know all of you. So I'm happy to see some familiar faces. There are some of you that I haven't met yet. So my name is Amelia Travis. And like Ken said, I'm the yoga director for Glide. And that means that my job is supporting global sales for our yoga-specific paddleboards and overseeing global programming that's yoga-specific. So that's yoga teacher trainings, retreats, workshops, demo days, community events, festivals, anything that we can be involved with that is related to stand-up paddleboard yoga. And a couple things about that. We have a little presentation to share with you guys while we talk about this, but basically Glide was definitely an innovator in the field of SUP yoga. When we first made a yoga-specific paddleboard, there was only one other company making them, and it wasn't really a thing that people were doing it. So we're really proud to be on the front lines as an innovator in paddleboard yoga, and growing our ambassador team to be nationwide and to have ambassadors in every state, the goal is really to just keep pushing the envelope in the field of SUP yoga and getting more people interested and involved in the sport, because we do believe it's a really amazing way to benefit health and wellness and to get people connected to the natural environment and get them out on the water. So we're going to share a short presentation with you guys that has a little bit more detailed information about the construction of glide boards, what we feel makes the brand different, so that you are equipped when you are talking to people about the Glide brand to give them accurate information about what makes Glide so special. Welcome to your 2016 information session. We're really glad you guys are here. We touched on this a little bit, the background and history of Glide. It was founded in 2010 by Ken Driscoll. Background in whitewater kayaking led us to make ultra durable stand-up paddle boards, and we're going to talk about how important that is, that our niche is these really very durable paddle boards. In 2011, we pioneered an ultra durable yoga specific paddleboard, which was one of the first SUP yoga boards on the market. And then in 2013, I joined the team as a consultant and ambassador, and over the past 3 years have grown into a position as a full-time yoga director. And that's really exciting because it means that there's a lot of opportunity available in the SUP yoga market. So that's really cool for all of us. I know many of you have your own businesses, and this is a really ripe time in this industry. Even though you know, SUP has been around for a few years, it's really only gained popularity in the last 5. So this is an awesome time to be growing your business. So what makes Glide different? We talk a lot about Glide being eco-friendly, but what does that really mean? This is something that you might hear from other companies, and it's really important to define what this means and back it up so that we can be specific and we can be educated when we're talking to potential customers or students or dealers or anybody really about the Glide brand. So one key factor is that our foam, which is the core of the boards, is not only recycled but locally sourced and produced. So our foam actually comes from basically down the street in Salt Lake City, Utah, which is amazing. We also use Entropy bioresin, which is also made in the United States. It's a USDA organic certified resin that's made of plant materials. So this is an alternative to petroleum-based resin, which is very common in the industry. And as some of you probably know, petroleum-based resins ultimately rely on fossil fuels and release more greenhouse gases and just do more harm to our environment and contribute to global warming. So all of those are important to most of us who care about our planet, which is hopefully all of you. It's definitely me. So that's a really important thing to note as well. And if that's a mouthful for you to say, just remember that it's a plant-based resin. It's made in the United States and it's organic certified. Because we're made in the United States, that brings us to our third bullet point. We have a smaller carbon footprint than international manufacturers because we're not building something in another country and then flying it across the ocean to the United States and then flying it back out to wherever it's going or being shipped. So the fact that we actually manufacture here in Salt Lake City in the United States is a huge plus for us in terms of carbon footprint. And then we talked a little bit about the boards being ultra durable, and that means that our boards have a longer life cycle. So because these boards are ultra durable and they're going to last you 3 seasons or 4 seasons or 5 seasons instead of 1, you know, a lot of fiberglass boards, a lot of boards that are manufactured internationally, they ding very easily. They take on water and then they're no longer functional and they go into the landfill. So by having a longer life cycle in the board, ultimately that's less waste and that's less garbage polluting our land and our oceans. Okay, so made in the USA. Everybody likes to talk about, oh, we're made in the USA, like we're patriots, woo, you know, America, which is great. That is really awesome, but why does it matter? First of all, who is it true for? And secondly, why does it matter? There are companies out there that say that they are made in the USA, and what they mean is that they are distributed from the USA. They mean that they are headquartered in the United States, and then they buy boards, and the boards come from China to the USA, and then they distribute them. When we say we are made in the USA, we mean we manufacture our boards here in Salt Lake City, start to finish, and we have a video that we'll make available to you guys after this one that you can watch that actually shows a board being made from start to finish. So that means you could come and visit us here at the factory and actually meet the people that make your boards, and if you wanted to stay around long enough, you could watch a board be made from start to finish. Why does it matter? Well, for one, it creates jobs. We're really proud to employ 20 full-time employees at our factory in Utah and an even larger independent sales force. In addition to that, we're creating opportunities for all of you guys as ambassadors to earn free boards, to earn a little bit of money through your media bonuses. So our goal is to continue that growth and be able to employ even more people and create full-time jobs in an awesome environment where people can have a happy life. All right, okay, what else? So why does it matter being made in the USA? Well, we also make a point to keep our money in the US economy. So that means using parts and materials that are also made in the United States, which supports those companies, those businesses, and all of their employees. So we use fins from Futures, which are made in California in the United States. We use Entropy bioresin, also made in the USA. And then, like we said, recycled foam blanks made locally in Salt Lake City. Okay, ultra durable SUPs. This is so important. This is probably your #1 consumer-centered selling point on why glide boards are so amazing and why everybody should probably buy a glide board. At the end of the day, people want to get the best value for their money, and they want something that's going to last. So the last 15 years, we've seen a real shift in our society from just constant mass consumerism, everybody wanting to buy as much as possible, to a more conscious effort to buy high quality goods that are going to last. Since their inception, our boards have been designed to withstand rough river waters. We came from that whitewater kayaking background, so these boards are designed to be able to hit a river rock and not take a ding. Over the years, one of the unique inventions that happened here at Glide was Ken Driscoll, who we call the Wizard, developed a unique patented coating for the boards. It's called Glide Surface Shield. It's a patented epoxy polymer that we use to coat the hard boards that basically makes them so durable. If you haven't seen our Will It Break It Wednesday series, you got to check those out. We'll leave those videos for you in the down bar on the YouTube video if you're watching this after the fact. If you're watching it live, we'll link to those videos towards the end of the presentation. Basically, there's nothing else on the market like it. We have a lot of other companies that try to get the recipe. They try to find out, what goes into our GSS coating, but it is a patented formula and it's not available to other people. So if you've been on a glide board, then you already know. You can drop it from 6 feet up. You can run it over with your car. You can get pretty crazy with these things and you're not going to hurt them. And that's really amazing. And if you're trying to sell a board to someone, show them. Just pick up your board and then drop it on the ground. And that's one of the best things that you can do to make an impression about why these boards are so durable. That durability makes these boards a really great choice for sustainably minded consumers. Anybody who cares, like we talked about reducing their overall waste and their environmental impact, is going to be excited about the idea of buying a board that's going to last many years. For budget-conscious retailers, this is a huge selling point for them. So when they're buying boards and they know that their boards aren't going to be damaged in shipping, they're not going to have to deal with, returning the product and then getting more. That's a huge selling point for retailers. And then for anybody that wants to be an outfitter or a guide, if they're doing rentals or they're doing lessons, you're dealing with a lot of beginners. So having boards that are durable is very important. And a lot of you know that because you're running your own business. So that's really huge. And then, like we already said, overall, a durable product means less damaged boards and less waste in our landfills.
From a business standpoint too, many of you have your own fleets and your own operations, is that if you damage one of your epoxy boards, that means it's out of rental or out of classes for at least 2 or 3 days, which is a huge time sink and money sink. And so with the glide boards, one of the advantages that you guys have is that your boards won't be damaged and they won't be out of service. And so repairing an epoxy board runs in California about $80 to $90 for a ding repair. You just won't have that issue with a glide board. So they're, great choice for rental and for, yoga operations and things like that.
Yes, an excellent choice. And that's a perfect segue to our next topic, which is the specifics of the ambassador program. So the ambassador program is still relatively new. It's something that for yoga specifically, we started in 2013 as a very rough pilot. We just brought on a couple yogis to basically consult on the design of the yoga boards. I was one of them. In 2014, we rolled that out on a little bit of a larger scale, reaching out to some strong social media influencers. During that year, Carrie Verna, who's Beach Yoga Girl on Instagram, came on board, and Irene Papas, Fit Queen Irene. So some big social media influencers came on board and were representing the brand and learning more about SUP Yoga, and that was fantastic. Towards the end of 2014, we realized that it was really important to, instead of just going after big names, to go after people who are actually engaged in the sport on a regular basis. So the people who are teaching, the people who are practicing SUP Yoga frequently, the people who are running their businesses. So that's you guys. That's where we started to get into this market of reaching out to the Glide lifestyle ambassadors, yoga teachers in their community who have SUP Yoga businesses or are leading private lessons or even just really passionate about the sport. And in 2015, we saw the growth of the program. We did some refining to the program and figuring out what's working, what's not working. And we're really excited that for 2016, we feel that we have a lot more structure. I've come on full-time as the yoga director, so my job is to be available to you guys to help support you in this ambassador program. And we really want to take the Glide paddle yoga and make that a global collective of water-loving yogis, of people who love SUP Yoga, and make it something that's bigger than just trying to sell paddle boards, but is really more focused on getting people on the water and getting them connected with the outdoors. So that's why you guys are here, hopefully.
We talked about the new website yet, or is that further down?
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Okay.
So first, we want to just quickly touch on what does it mean to be an ambassador? And there's a lot of companies throwing around the word ambassador right now. It's become a pretty popular thing to recruit ambassadors, and we'll be candid. One of the main things that companies are doing when they recruit ambassadors is looking to increase overall sales and brand awareness. So that is ultimately why we have an ambassador team. But what does it mean to be an ambassador? The first thing that means is to be a positive agent for the sport. So to us, that means you should be continually educating yourself in this field. So in learning about how to be a better paddler, in continuing in your own personal yoga practice, you should be teaching or inviting friends in your local community or customers, if you have a business, to come and paddle with you and to practice SUP Yoga on the water. We want to know that you guys are, that people aren't doing this program just to get a board for a less expensive cost. We want people who are really excited about the SUP Yoga practice and who are going to share it with the world. So the first thing that we think being an ambassador means is be a positive agent for the sport. The second thing that we ask of you guys is that you be knowledgeable representatives of the Glide brand. So ultimately, when you're out there on a Glide board, they're beautiful, they're yellow, people are gonna see you doing a headstand and they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, what's this person doing? This is so cool. We want you to be able to speak knowledgeably to them after the fact about why your board is special and why it's the greatest board to practice SUP Yoga. Or if you're on a retro or you're on, any Glide board, we want you to be able to speak knowledgeably about the brand. So part of that is understanding the product and what makes it unique. And again, if you're just now tuning in, we just went through a short presentation about what makes Glide different. We'll make that available to you guys via email after the fact. So part of this is understanding why is the Glide brand special. Another part of being a knowledgeable representative is cultivating opportunities to share the Glide brand and SUP Yoga with new participants or beginners. Even if you're not running your business, you can do this. This is as simple as inviting people from your school or your church or your yoga studio or your neighborhood or anybody, you know, when you're going out on the water, say, hey, we're having a family beach day. Do you want to come out and join us? We're going to do some SUP yoga. It can also be sharing it with new people and beginners, not in your local community, but in your digital community. So that means maybe you take your GoPro out on your camera and make a quick tutorial video about how to do a full wheel back bend on a paddleboard, and share that via YouTube or via Instagram. There's a lot of ways to connect with new people in the community, but ultimately, SUP yoga is such a new sport that everybody is a beginner. So we really want to create an environment of inclusion with the Glide brand. We want to welcome people into the sport because it still is relatively new. And as an ambassador, one of your primary goals should be welcoming people into the SUP community. A third aspect of being a knowledgeable representative for the Glide brand is you should know how to refer sales. So when somebody's like, man, this is so great, I love being on my paddleboard or borrowing your paddleboard, like I want to get one. Don't just be like, cool, thanks, bye. So nice to meet you. Instead, there's a couple really easy ways that you guys can refer sales. And that's going to be a huge thing for you because for every 10 board sales that you refer, you will be credited a free board and paddle and shipping to you. So that's a huge value. There are some contingencies on shipping, so that has to be in the United States within a specific zone. So we'll get that to you guys in writing. But basically, we're sending you, you know, a $1,600 value for the sale of 10 boards. And the goal in that is we want it to benefit you, and we also want there to be initiative to promote the brand. So how do you refer sales? Well, two ways. One is if you're referring an individual board sale, so somebody wants to just buy one board, the easiest way for them to buy a board is going to be to go online to either GlideSUP.com or GlidePaddleYoga.com and purchase the board using a specific discount code that you provide to them at checkout. So if you don't know your discount code yet, we will get it to you. There's two options for your discount code. The standard or default that we use is your first name, last initial, and then 10, the digits 10. So if it were me, my code would be Amelia T10. But I don't really want to be Amelia T10, so if you don't like that discount code, please email us and let us know what custom code you would like. In my case, I chose to use Stoked Yogi. That's the name of my company. It's simple. It's all one word. So people can go to GlideSUP.com or GlidePaddleYoga.com, put in Stoked Yogi at checkout, and they'll receive 10% off and free shipping on their board as long as it's within the United States. The contiguous?
There's just a few zones that we exclude there. I mean, there's some islands.
If you're in the furthest reaches of Alaska, you may not get $99
we'll have to help you
shipping.
out with that, yeah.
All right. So within reason. So that's individual board sales. If you have anything more than 3, say this person wants to buy 3 boards or more, and you'd rather not refer them to the website, or they have questions. In any case, if they have questions or they need more help, just refer them directly to us here at Glide. You can send them to Travis at GlideSUP.com, which is my email, and this info will all be in the down bar of the YouTube after the fact, and also sent out to you guys in another email. Or they can also email orders.
Info at GlideSUP.com.
Info at GlideSUP.com.
It'll be linked below.
So that's for fleet sales, and that's, you know, your dealers, yoga studios, or even a family that wants to buy more than one board at a time. Some of you have inquired about if you're referring another ambassador, does that count towards your 10 board credit? The answer is no, that does not count towards your 10 board credit, but we love it and we're very excited if you guys do it. So if you're sending friends or you know, your co-teachers or whatever, and they become a Glide ambassador, that sale does not count towards those 10 boards. However, fleet sales do count. So if you get hooked up with a retail shop and they want to buy 6 boards, those 6 boards will count towards your sale. Do make sure that if you're referring sales in that way, the best thing to do is for you to do a warm introduction via email. So that means you send me an email and CC the person that's interested in buying. Also, send it to them at the same time and just introduce us. Say, hey, Amelia, this is Billy Bob from Billy Bob's Paddleboards, and he's interested in buying some boards. That way I know that the sale came from you, and we'll make sure that we give you credit for that sale. And at any time, you guys, if you have questions about this stuff, please feel free to put it in the Q&A session. If you're not sure how to do that, again, there's a little grid at the top of the screen. Looks like a square that's made of squares. Click on that, and then you can type a question. So if any of this is unclear, feel free to ask those questions as we go. Okay, the third aspect or next key point about being a Glide ambassador is we want to see that you guys are making a valiant effort to stay actively engaged with the brand. So what does this mean? Well, based on the terms of your contract, it means that we're looking for at least 2 posts per month on social media. Your choice of what kind of social media you want to post on. Generally, we're talking about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, or Pinterest. But please choose the method that's most organic and authentic for you, and also the method where you have the most reach. That makes sense for you, and it makes sense for us, because you're going to reach the most people that way, and you're going to have the most likelihood of generating a sale, which benefits you in the long run. Policing that. So, there's, like I said, 72 of you ambassadors right now, so it would be very time consuming for me to go in and check with frequency all of your social media accounts to make sure that you're posting. So this is done on the honor system, but we do expect you guys to take initiative and do these posts, because that's what we look for when we're advancing people to our elite team or to our teacher training team. So there are ambassadors who are facilitating teacher trainings for Glide this year who are fully sponsored, if you will. They get a few free boards each year. They get paddles, all of that. And those are handpicked from our pool of lifestyle ambassadors based on performance. So performance doesn't necessarily mean sales, though that is definitely a consideration. If we see someone has a huge amount of sales, then they're definitely working to promote the brand. But more importantly, it's people who are staying consistently enthusiastic in promoting the Glide brand. So if we see you, posting and tagging on Instagram and Facebook and sharing tutorial videos on YouTube, and you seem to really love what you're doing, that makes a huge impact, and it matters way more than number of followers or your social status on social media, because we've been down that road, and that's really not our priority. Our priority is having genuine, engaged interactions between ambassadors and potential consumers. Okay, so posting on social media, make sure you tag Glide, please. And that's pretty simple. If you're not sure how to do it, talk to me one-on-one. I do social media coaching. I'm happy to help you. And if you don't know how to tag somebody, then we definitely need to bring you up to speed. Okay. The second part of meeting your obligations is you need to submit a quarterly blog post. So I'm going to screen share with you guys right now the new website, just in case you haven't seen it yet. And here we go. I got to make it a little bigger so that you guys can see it. How are we looking over there? Can we see it?
No, I think I'm still delayed.
Okay. So it may be a few minutes delayed, but it should show up for you guys momentarily. And this is the new GlidePaddleYoga.com website. If you can't see it on the screen sharing, you can open another tab and just type in GlidePaddleYoga.com. What you'll see here is a magazine style layout, which has a lot of really fantastic content that we're adding to all the time. One of the most recent posts was published by Casey, who I believe is tuning in live. Casey's in Illinois. She's on our teacher training team this year, and she submitted a blog post about off-season SUP strengthening. So it's a really cool, short little sequence with photos of how to keep warm and in good SUP shape throughout the winter. So In addition to doing SUP Yoga and paddleboard specific posts, this is going to be more of a lifestyle site. So you'll see that we have categories like playlists. There's going to be recipes, travel, DIY. The goal is that, you know, this should be an integral website. We want people coming here just like they would go to SUP Connect or Distress Mullet, but really geared more towards the female demographic, geared more towards women who are interested in SUP Yoga. If you're looking for yourself, you'll find yourself under the Ambassadors tab. And you'll notice that there's a couple different categories here. It'll default to all, so we'll see all of the ambassadors at the same time. If you do not see yourself listed on here, it means either I do not have your current bio and photos. Actually, that's what it means. It means I do not have your current bio and photos because I have updated all of these. So you'll find yourself here. When you go into your profile, we'll take a look at Chandra's. You'll see the photos that you submitted, your bio, the quotes that you provided, and then down at the bottom you'll find connect with Chandra in this case, or connect with your name. And if you have upcoming events, there will also be a tab that says practice with this person. So we want to support you guys. If you have local classes, lessons, rentals, workshops, retreats, anything that you're doing, we want to list those for you. And we'll have those under our Find Classes tab. So if you take a look at the Find Classes tab, this is essentially a store locator. Defaults to the United States. And everywhere that there's a little pin, we have one of our dealers, ambassadors, or SUP Yoga based businesses. And these link to their site. So below the map, you'll find a whole list with links of all of the different SUP Yoga outfitters, and you can also search by your zip code. So that's a really cool resource. If you're not currently listed, please make sure that you send us your information so that we can get you listed. Last but not least thing that we want to show you guys on the website right now is the shop. So this is where you'll be referring your sales. Your discount codes will still work on GlideSUP.com if someone is looking to purchase a board that is not listed on Glide Paddle Yoga. We will not have the entire fleet on Glide Paddle Yoga, but we will have the boards that we find are most relevant to the yoga specific demographic. So you'll see that the Glide Lotus, the 2015 model board is on there, the Glide Retro is on there. Our 25-hour SUP Yoga certification is on there. March 1st, we'll be officially launching this website, and at that time, you will see a whole list of teacher trainings for the 2016 year. Hi, we're back.
And also, since March 1st is the official launch date,
yeah,
we're going to try to get as much content as we can for the website to really just fill it out. So anything you've got, it'd be a great time to get started on the obligations to get in, and we can highlight it. Because I mean, one of the main goals, as Amelia talked about with the website, is to help promote you guys also. I mean, you guys are helping promote Glide, but we want to promote you guys. And so events, recipes, sequences, all that's really important. It gets your guys' name out there and helps build your following, and it helps us too. So we're really excited to like really build this as a community site. And to get a good community site going, we need help from you guys.
Yes. So part of that is that there will be regular features. So every Monday we'll be featuring a playlist. Every Wednesday we'll be doing a Wednesday workout. The other, dates and topics we'll figure out as we go, but this shouldn't be stressful. This should be fun. So your obligation is to submit a blog post quarterly. For those of you that don't know, quarterly means every 3 months, or if it's easier for you to think of it as every season, that's a great way to think of it. So submit one for winter, spring, summer, and fall. We'll send you an email every quarter with options of topics, but just to give you, some quick ideas, like we said, playlists. You can do a simple yoga sequence, a simple fitness routine, 3 to 5 exercises, maybe with a specific focus like core or something like that. Do a healthy recipe, a yoga tutorial or video, and these can be short, just one post. Just teach us in a 45 second to 1 minute video how to do a proper forward fold. It doesn't need to be a hard pose. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. Even better if you can show us how to do it on your paddleboard. But if it's on land, that's great too. Travel articles. It can be where you've been or where you'd like to go. It can be a wanderlust themed article, 5 places I'd like to paddle before I die. Maybe don't say die, but something like that. Gear reviews. If you have found like the most amazing pair of yoga pants for paddleboarding, or you'd like to share it with us, your top 5 favorite brands of flip-flops, like whatever. If it's somewhat related to the yoga or SUP or the lifestyle, that's fantastic. And gear reviews are always really awesome, because there are a lot of beginners in this sport and people want to know what works well and what doesn't, and what should they buy and why. If you're an expert in a certain field and you want to share any kind of coaching, social media coaching, business coaching, it does need to be relevant in some way. But for an example, if you're a counselor or a therapist, maybe you want to write an article about 10 signs that you're happy in your job, or 10 ways to be more fulfilled in your life, and relate that to working out, healthy eating, stuff like that. If you're a teacher, maybe write about 3 good ways to learn and retain new skills, and relate that to yoga. So when we're trying to master a handstand, what are some things we can do from a learning perspective? So there's an infinite amount of ideas of things you can write about, and you don't have to be an amazing writer. If you feel like this is so intimidating for me, like I'm not a writer, it's just not what I do, totally fine. Do a photo journal, send us 10 pictures and write 1 short caption under each of where it was, or submit a Spotify playlist. You don't have to write 1 paragraph about why you love this playlist. So it can be really easy. And that obligation needs to be met. So if we get halfway through the year and you've submitted none of your blog posts, I'm going to reach out to you and say, hey, what's going on? We really want to make sure that this is a 2-way street, that you're happy in participating, and that we're also supporting you and making it easy for you to chime in. All of your articles will be tagged with your website or your social media information so that people can find you. The goal is for glidepaddleyoga.com to be a really collaborative website, and for ultimately it to become that your go-to favorite blog, the place that you're going to go and check out anything, the recipe for an acai bowl, or where you're going to take your next yoga retreat vacation. Okay, so we've run a little bit over on the info session. We just have one more thing to touch on, and that is the teacher trainings. There's a lot of information on the Glide Paddle Yoga website, but like we said, it's not officially launching until March 1st, so we have quite a few dates that still need to be updated in there. The upcoming trainings that you may want to be aware of are March, we have a teacher training in San Diego. It's a 25-hour training. April, we have a teacher training in Dallas, Fort Worth. Those are both coming up pretty quick, and we'd love to see you at either one of them. If you do attend if you are an ambassador and you attend a Glide Paddle Yoga teacher training, upon graduation, you'll be given the ability to volunteer for future trainings as an assistant and work towards that goal of potentially facilitating your own trainings one day. So we really want to help build you guys up and also make sure that you guys are as educated as possible in this field. So if you don't currently have any paddle specific or SUP yoga specific certifications, water safety experience, we definitely recommend coming and taking a teacher training. Our all-inclusive 40-hour trainings do include also a paddle fit certification. So we'll be sending you guys some more information about that as well. And if you have questions on that, please leave them in the Q&A. Which brings us to
one thing really quick.
One more thing.
Yeah.
One more thing.
I just want to jump into the design on the yoga board actually. So you have the kind of the best knowledge you have on that. We worked with Amelia and a couple other yogis to design it. It was, like Amelia said, probably one of the first. Was it the first yoga board? Or was there others out at the time? We'll say it's one of the earliest yoga boards out there. And so I knew nothing about yoga. I still know very little. I'm learning every day. It's going to take some time, but I'll get there. But working with these guys, one of the things that it really had to have 2 things that did well. One is, yoga had to work on it really well. It had to paddle well, because one of our, main philosophies on Glide is the product has to paddle very well, no matter what it's for. It's a race board, whitewater board, yoga board. It still has to paddle well. And so we kind of reverse engineered it. So we took a yoga mat and we started from there. We said we have to have this, this shape and size of a yoga mat, and that's on the top of your board. If you look at your board, you'll notice it's got a standard size yoga mat flat section on the deck. Then we built it out from there. And your board's 35 inches wide, and that creates stability. It's 10 foot long, so it gives it a good amount of speed for the length. 10 foot is, we kind of had to make a compromise there. The longer a board is, the faster it is. The shorter a board is, it turns better and it's more maneuverable. And more importantly, it's easier to work with. It's easier to carry, it's easier to put on your car, it's easier to store. We kind of chose 10 foot as the perfect, sacrifice of speed, maneuverability. It came in at a great length. And so it's 10 by 35 and it's 5 1/4 inches thick. So it has a lot of buoyancy. And that's kind of, we did that so you could do acro yoga on it, or, more crazy yoga stuff on it and still have stability. And then on the, that's the deck. And then the really important stuff happens on the bottom. If you flip the board over, you'll notice it's got a really odd shaped bow that has a design like this. It's got a lot of rocker, which rocker is if you look at the board sideways, is the
curvature
of the board.
Thank you.
Yes, also called rocker. And so the rocker on the board, just a quick intro of the rocker, is it makes the board so how it turns, more so when it's at speed, but also how it goes out over waves or how it handles rough conditions. And so rocker inherently makes the board slower if you have a lot of it. And so at the tip of the board, we add a lot of rocker. It's called kick rocker, where it kicks up in the front and then you've got that V shape. So that gives you the ability to travel over rocky conditions, rough conditions if you're on a lake or if you're in a river or especially the ocean, because originally designed these boards to be used in the ocean. And so then the V part of the board cuts through the waves, and so it keeps the board going straight. And it also helps just on pure flat wire, it makes it track. And then behind that is completely flat on the bottom of the board. And that adds a lot of stability. And the volume is taken all the way to the rail of the boards. And so again, that helps with your stability. What that does though, is it counteracts the board going straight. If you have a flat surface on the water, it just wants to spin. And so the V in the front helps with that. And then in the tail, if you look at it from the back of your board, it also has a lot of V in it where the fin box is. And so that helps the board track really well. And so all those things combined really make the perfect yoga board. So if you have people ask, why does it have that weird thing on the nose? You should be able to talk about that. Or why is the fin box placed where it is? And then another just side note, occasionally you're going to break a fin. It happens. The fin box, you can get fins from us. You can call and order them. You can also get them on Amazon. It's a standard longboard fin. It's universal. Any fin will fit. We also work with Futures, and we developed a yoga-specific fin, which we don't have with us, which we hope we would. It's really pretty. It's bamboo. It adds a ton of stability. You've used it.
Yes,
you can kind of
it's
talk
awesome.
about that.
Yes. Yeah, those should be available later this spring. It's a yoga-specific fin that really makes a huge difference if you're practicing inversions or doing any more challenging balancing postures or trying to do acro yoga on the boards. When those come available, we will have a special ambassador discount for you guys, so we'll provide information to you guys on those via email. For those of you who would like a spec sheet, an info sheet on just the yoga board so that you understand more, we can provide that to you as well. The specs are available on the website in the shop, so when people go to look at that, it's going to show them 10 feet long, 35 inches wide, 5 inches thick. It'll show them the volume. But it is good for you to understand, why does this board have a displacement hole at the nose? Why does it have a hole for a locking cable or for the anchor at the tail? Why does it have this rough texture all over it? That's the GSS, the Glide Surface Shield. So when you guys have questions about that stuff, please contact us. Don't feel like you just need to be in the dark about something. Let us know so that we can help you and give you the materials and the knowledge that you need.
The rough texture, also really quick, is by design. It's a smooth board creates suction in the surface tension. I won't get too nerdy about this because I could go on forever.
Yeah.
And a rough board is just think about it like a golf ball. It's, it has the dimples on it just like a golf ball, and it breaks up that surface tension. And
I like to tell people it's like shark skin.
Or shark skin.
Tell them it's like shark skin. They love that.
So that actually is by design, the rough texture.
Okay, let's get to our Q&A. You guys have been really patient. Thank you for that. The first question came in from Audrey, and it just says, if my ambassador profile on the Glide Paddle Yoga site is not complete, do I need to resend my pics, social media, and programs that I offer? The simple answer is yes. If your profile does not look the way that you want it to look, please send me an email. Please be very specific. So let me know what you want to see changed. Also, please try to be somewhat concise in your profiles. I have received a few that are 4 and 5 pages long, and that's too long. It shouldn't be that long. We will post what you send, but if you want people to actually read it, keep it relatively concise. And if you want your photos updated, if you get halfway through the year and you want to put different pictures on there, email them to me. Let me know specifically which photos you would like posted. Please don't send 30 photos and say you pick, because I don't want to do that. So send me the photos that you want in your profile and we will change them and make sure that they're up to date. We also are not going to put like a huge comprehensive list of every event that you have coming up or all your class schedule or all of that, but we will gladly put a link to your website. And if you have a few major events that involve Glide directly, then we will list those under the practice with you section. So for example, if you're assisting or leading a Glide yoga teacher training, that will be under the practice with you session. If you have a retreat that you really need to promote that's coming up, let us know about that. I know Caitlin Marcoux has one coming up in Panama, and we'll list that under your practice with you section. Okay. Next question came in from Casey. Are we ever planning to do smaller trainings? I have a lot of fitness centers in my area starting indoor SUP yoga programs and no idea how to do this. I'll come and do basic trainings, but I don't think it's enough. Maybe a one-day training. The answer to this is yes. We just developed a curriculum that's a one-day training. It was actually requested by Yoga Journal for the Yoga Journal conference this year in San Diego. So we will have a one-day training program, and that will be available to our teacher training facilitators and potentially expanding to more ambassadors, though you do need to be certified. You do need to have your lifeguard certification, and there's quite a few requirements on that. But yes, we will have both a one-day training or a teaching workshop, basically. So it's not like a full certification, but it's a one-day teaching workshop that would be really great for an indoor SUP yoga program or, you know, gyms, recreation centers, dealers, things like that. So yes, that's definitely coming. We also have a one-day immersion program that we're rolling out this year. That's more of like a one-day retreat. So it includes a catered lunch. It includes, you know, morning SUP yoga, SUP skills, a little bit of a longer paddle, some games and relays, afternoon meditation, and a short photo shoot. And that's going to be available to all of our teacher trainers to facilitate, and then also select Glide business owners. So if you own a fleet of 7 or more boards and you want to facilitate those immersions, you can reach out to me about those. So thank you, Casey. That was a great question. Audrey had another question. If I've already submitted several blog posts, do I need to submit more for my commitment? The answer is you need to double check your contract. There's a different requirement for lifestyle ambassadors and elite trainers. So please check your contract and see how many blog posts you're obligated to each year, whether it's quarterly or whether it's monthly. If it's quarterly and you've submitted 4 already and you don't want to do any more for the year, that's totally fine, but we encourage you to submit content regularly, because the more you submit, the more you'll get featured, and all of that links back to your website for traffic, and it's just really awesome for your own portfolio. So that is the answer to that. All right, next question, Jessie. Hi, Jessie, I miss you. Jessie says, is there a format for submitting a bio? Yes, there is a format for submitting a bio. It's a very simple template. We want you to write 1 paragraph about yourself, and then we have a list of questions, basically a short interview with you that we'll provide to you. With the paragraph and the template, we'd like you to attach 3 photos. 1 should be a headshot. A headshot, for those of you that don't know, is not a selfie. So it is not, I'm taking a picture of myself like this. Have somebody else take the camera and take your picture of, you know, waist up, smiling, maybe holding your board. Relatively professional. It's great if it's by the water, but try to keep it high resolution, and that's the case for all the photos. So 3 photos, 1 headshot, 2 action shots. They need to be with your Glide boards, and yeah, so if you have more questions about that template, Jesse, just email me and we'll make sure that we get it to you. We do need an updated bio for the 2016 year. So for those of you who were ambassadors in 2015, we are not transferring the bios from the GlideSUP website because there are many people that were not staying actively engaged, and we don't want to transfer a bunch of information for people who aren't participating. So if you are wondering about that, then please, you know, double check with me. But if you don't see your bio on there live now, then yes, we need to get that information from you. Okay. Question from Kelly. I'm going up to Salt Lake City and would love to tour the facility. Who can I contact about setting that up?
So you can, down below there's going to be info@glidesup.com. Just shoot an email to that, and then we'll set up with you privately and make sure that you get taken care of when you're in Salt Lake.
info@glidesup.com if you want to tour the factory. Thanks, Kelly. Okay, we did this one. Will you list retreats even if we can't get glide boards there? This question's from Amanda, who's one of our teacher trainings in Dallas. Yes, we will list the retreat if you're going to be teaching SUP yoga or it's at all relevant to paddleboard yoga, but it's very important that in that situation, you still promote the Glide brand. So this has been the case with me a few times. I led a retreat in Sayulita in Mexico. There was SUP yoga in that retreat, but unfortunately we couldn't get glide boards there for that retreat. Though you always have the option to take an inflatable, and it's actually very easy to take an inflatable with you, even internationally. It's the same size as a normal piece of luggage. It weighs 25 pounds. You just check it, just like you would check any other suitcase. We have collapsible paddles that are available to you. So even if you can't provide glide boards for everybody, if you can take one inflatable with you and make that available for your students to try as a demo, get your own photos taken in a beautiful destination, I highly recommend doing that. It's a really great opportunity to get good content. It can contribute to a blog post. But if you absolutely can't and you still would like the brand to support, as long as you're staying current in your obligations with Glide and as long as it's relevant to the Glide brand, that you are teaching SUP yoga in some capacity, that's fine. We can list it. Just please note that, you know, we are happy to support all of your endeavors, and we want to make sure that that's reciprocated. So please don't take pictures on another brand of paddleboard and then put it on and be like, had the best day ever on my starboard SUP, because that is a violation of your contract, and we will reach out to you if you do that and let you know that it is not cool. So great question, Amanda. Thank you. Next question. Can you let us know how to do the blog post? Do you need an email after they're written in WordPress, or do you want us to send it to an email first with our post ideas so it can be approved? Thank you so much for this question, Amanda, because I meant to address this. When you're submitting a blog post, if you have a login for the Glide Paddle Yoga website, you are welcome to go in and draft your blog post yourself. It's very important that if you do this, you save it as a draft and do not hit publish. There's two reasons for that. One is I want to go in and check the spelling, grammar, capitalization, and the content to make sure that it's aligned with the brand. There's actually three reasons. Two is we want to schedule the content in a way that it's spread out evenly throughout the week so that each post gets the optimal amount of time and attention as we cross-market it on Facebook and Instagram and other social media. And then thirdly, the wizard here is going to go in and optimize the search engine and meta tags for all of those posts so that they have the most likelihood of going viral. So we're going to use all of the resources that we have to make sure that we promote your posts as best we can, but it will really help us if you don't just go publishing willy-nilly. If you don't have access or a login to the Glide Paddle Yoga website to be a contributor yourself, that's totally fine too. Please email me your blog posts in the body of the email or in a separate Word document, but do not put the photos in the Word document. The photos need to be separate attachments in the email, or they need to be submitted via Dropbox or Google Drive, which is completely fine. And if you have more questions specifically about how to blog, I think that's going to be a short, separate live hangout because I know a lot of you guys have questions on that, and I want to actually take you through screen sharing and show you guys how to do that. So we'll set up a time within the next 2 weeks to get that done. Thank you, Amanda. Okay. We have a question from Kelly Orr. I must have missed the part about the 10 board sales. What does it mean if we sell 10 boards? So if you check the terms of your contract, Kelly, it says that for every 10 board sales you refer, whether those are individual sales or fleet sales, you earn a free board of your choosing. That's going to be either the yoga board, the inflatable yoga board, a retro, or an inflatable retro. It does not apply to our more expensive race boards, though we can credit you towards those in equal value. So you'll get a free board and paddle for every 10 boards that you sell. So this is to incentivize you to be sharing the brand with people, and it's also to reward you when you do generate sales. In the past, we've done a strictly like financial, basically commission payout, and we found that one, it wasn't really motivating people to share the brand, and two, it just wasn't as rewarding as giving them an actual board, which for some people, they don't have the financial means to buy one, and saving up a $25 commission or $50 commission is still going to take a long time to earn a paddle board. But in this way, you know, if you meet one shop or one yoga studio and they want to buy 10 boards, then you just earned yourself a free board and paddle right there. If you have more questions about that, feel free to email me directly and I will answer it. Okay, the last question was, as a teacher trainer, would the one-day workshops be part of the 2-a-year commitment? No, and we'll talk about that separately. No, but the short answer is no, they would not. So those are basically an opportunity for you to earn more income. There would be a profit sharing with Glide, a very fair profit sharing for the person that's providing those one-day trainings, but we can talk about that more in detail when we're in just the teacher trainer component of the Q&A. Thanks, Audrey.
I think that one.
And the last question that we have on here looks like we cannot actually read the whole thing.
But for the first part, the made in USA versus inflatables is
We'll read the question.
Oh, sorry. It says, you share good information about hardboards and how they are made in the USA. Do we need to abandon this position for 2 reasons? First, it appears more and more of our subs are inflatables made in China. Secondly, that part's cut off, sorry.
So Roxy, if you can resubmit the secondly part of your question, that would be great.
So in general, Glide, all of our hardboards are made here in the USA. Yes, our inflatables are made in China. We do hope one day to make those here in the US. Currently, they are made in China. Inflatables are a fraction of our business. Even in the yoga specific, I'd say they're less than 5% of all the boards we do. So I still think it's very fair to say everything's made in the USA.
And you know, you can be clear about that with people. I usually choose to say all of our hardboards are manufactured in the USA. There is no other company, and I really want to emphasize this, there's no other company that has their manufacturing and does production, like production quantity of boards in the United States. There are a few small custom board manufacturers that make like surf specific hardboards, and they're actually made in the United States, like King's, but we really are very unique, and it's not at all misleading. And if it helps you to be able to say to people, all of our hardboards or all of our boards except inflatables are made in the United States, and then you can also let people know that pretty much all of the inflatables that are made in a very small handful of factories in China and Taiwan. It's actually a really specific product niche. So it doesn't matter what brand you see of inflatables, the odds are those are all inflatables globally are coming from the same three factories. Yeah.
And inflatable boards actually, from the U.S. standpoint of importing them, aren't even considered boards. They're considered inflatable toys. So we don't even really consider them boards. They're inflatable pool toys, what they get classified when they're imported in.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to note that we declined to produce inflatables for a number of years because of the manufacturing process, because of where they come from. But ultimately, our first allegiance is to our customers, and we had customers that were so loyal to the Glide brand that they said, we don't want to work with any other brands, and we really need inflatables for transportation purposes or storage, or because we're seasonal and we've got to roll up all of our boards and put them away for the whole winter and they only come out for a few months each year. Or like Roxy, in your case, you're traveling the world and getting amazing photos in every city. We can't wait to see where you guys go next. So, you know, there's definitely drawbacks to manufacturing overseas for the inflatables, but unfortunately it's the only thing that's available right now. And you're welcome. Thanks for asking that great question. Lita, what's up, girl? Lita is asking when the 2016 Lotus deck pad is available, and that'll be sent out to you very shortly. For all of you guys as ambassadors, you can order that deck pad now. We'll be officially launching it in April. And then it's going to be available probably on the GlideSUP website April or May.
Yeah, I would think
maybe
you guys have the first shot at them, obviously, and so they'll be available to you a few weeks before they go to the public.
Yeah, so if you do want to get the new deck pad design, definitely let's order it now. Those are $8.99 plus $99 shipping, and they're really pretty. If you haven't seen them yet, send me an email, and you want to see them, and I'll send you a catalog so you can see the new design. All of our ambassadors can get them now, and then we'll be actively promoting them in the month of April on social media in allegiance with the Mermaid Yogis Instagram challenge, which we're going to be sponsoring again in April.
I think one thing, you know, to add to that is if you do have one, if you're an elite yogi who has one, which I don't think anyone really does yet.
JC has, yeah, like 3 people.
We're trying not to promote it yet.
Yeah, so hold off. We're going to do a unified campaign on those. So if you do have the new deck pad, just keep it quiet, and we'll officially launch them on April 1st. Okay, Audrey asked a question, is there any way to see how many boards we actually sell? As long as you are giving people your discount code and they're using the discount code, we can, we're not going to give you access to all of the financials, but we can provide you with a printed report that shows you how many sales have been made with that code. If you believe that you've had specific sales and you know the names of your customers, please send them to us in an email and we can double check for you. And if for some reason that sale was not credited to you, we can ask that person if they were referred by you and we can give you credit for that sale. That's not a problem. We want to really make sure that you guys are being credited for those sales. And like I said, if it's more than an individual sale and they're not buying online, please be involved in the first email conversation between us and them rather than just passing off my email to them. You, as an ambassador, are in a great position to send an email to that potential customer and to me saying, hey, this person's interested in buying a fleet of boards. Go for it. And then we can make sure that it's credited to you. All right, it looks like we went through all the questions. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. There are a couple videos that you may want to watch, and they're available on YouTube. So if you haven't, we're going to show this tomorrow in the webinar, but if you haven't already seen it, we have a video on our YouTube called the Glide Factory Tour.
It's working.
And let me know if you guys in teacher training. If you're curious about that, please check it out and let us know if you have any questions. I'm not sure if they can still see us or not.
I don't think they can.
All right, well, we're going to close.
Just to wrap it up, yeah, I mean, like Amelia said, please feel free to reach out for anything. I'm also available for anything. I'm definitely not your choice to go to for yoga questions, but for anything on history or how your boards are made or suggestions. That's one thing. Also, at the end of the season, we'll send out a questionnaire asking about your experience with the boards and how we can improve them going forward. Because, I mean, your input is very valuable to us. But we need to make the best board. You know, we have it right now, but we need to continue to improve it. So we'll be asking for feedback as the season goes. So feel free to reach out.
Awesome. And the best way to stay in touch is to make sure that you're part of the Facebook group, the Glide Team Yogis. If you're not part of the Facebook group, we will put the link for it in the down bar below the YouTube video here. Please go there and request to join so we can make sure that you're on there. That's going to be where we post upcoming events, you know, post ideas for the blog and things like that. And then you'll also get your quarterly check-in email from me about all of that stuff. So thank you guys so much for spending an hour with us. We really appreciate your time, and we're so excited to have you guys on the team. If you think of more questions after the fact, just send us an email, travis@glidesup.com, and I will be happy to answer them. We can't wait to have an awesome season with you guys and make this the best year ever for Glide and for all of your businesses. So yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you guys.
We'll see you guys next time. Oh, if you tune in tomorrow, our webinar is 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and we'll be doing a factory tour and a lot more detailed information about the manufacturing process. Okay, thanks. Bye.